أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي علم القرآن خلق الإنسان وعلمه البيان. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا للإسلام وجعلنا من المسلمين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا خير أمة أخرجت للناس. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، النور الأنوار والسراج المنير الرؤوف الرحيم البشير النذير، وعلى آله وأصحابه طيبين طاهرين ومن تبعهم بالإسلام والإيمان والإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، نحييكم بتحية الإسلام، تحية من عند الله مباركة طيبة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. موضوعنا اليوم عن نور من سورة الأنعام، أو من كان ميتا فأحييناه وجعلنا له نورا يمشي به في الناس. في كتاب الله الكريم الذي لم يأتي مثله أبدا توجد سورة تسمى سورة النور. وفي هذه السورة نجد آيتان. آية النور: الله نور السماوات والأرض، مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح، المصباح في زجاجة، الزجاجة كأنها كوكب، إلى آخر الآية. وآية الظلمات: أو كظلمات في بحر لجي يغشاه موج من فوقه موج من فوقه سحاب، ظلمات بعضها فوق بعض، إلى آخر الآية. وبين هذه الآيات رقم 5، رقم الإسلام. فما المقصود بهذا المثل؟ المقصود بهذا المثل هو أن لا حياد في الإسلام. الإنسان مخير، إما أن يكون في النور أم يكون في الظلمات. Our topic today, I said, is I am light, a dispeller of darkness. The text is taken from Surah Al-An'am, ayah 122, where Allah lists the 3 stages of spiritual rebirth: spiritual death, spiritual life, and spiritual light. أو من كان ميتا فأحييناه وجعلنا له نورا يمشي به في الناس. I said that in the noble book of Allah, the likes of which will never come again, we find a surah that is called the Surah An-Nur. In that surah, we find 2 ayats. One ayah is called the verse of light, and one ayah is called the verse of darkness. Between these 2 ayats is the number 5, the number of Islam. The verse of light is verse 35, and the verse of darkness is verse 40. This is the only verse in the Quran that is called the verse of light. And this is the only verse in the Quran that is called the verse of darkness. And they're in the same surah. And between them is the number 5, the number of Islam. What is the meaning and the significance of this profound symbolism? That in the same surah that is called the light, you have both the verse of light and the verse of darkness. And you notice how light comes before darkness. 35 first comes before 40. What is the meaning? The meaning is that man stands between, on one hand, light, and on the other hand, darkness. And man must choose. Al-insan mukhayyar, has to choose, because there is no neutrality in Islam. La hiyada fil Islam. There is no neutrality. With every act, no matter how small that you perform, no matter how small, with every word that you utter, no matter how small, you make a choice to either side with light or to side with darkness. La hiyada fil Islam. There is no neutrality in Islam. By everything that you do, you are choosing one side, either the side of light or the side of darkness. Kindness is light. Compassion is light. Mercy is light. Generosity is light. Forgiveness is light. Justice is light. When we do all of those, either in word or in action, we are choosing light. But injustice is darkness. Oppression is darkness. Wrongdoing is darkness. Speaking ill of people is darkness. Ego is darkness. Slandering is darkness. And when we do those things, we are making the conscious choice to choose darkness over light. La hiyada fil Islam. There is no neutrality in Islam. We either side with good or we side with what is not good. We either side and become an agent of light, and in that case we side with light, or we choose to be a slave to darkness by choosing that side. Knowing that man, al-insan, by nature is a being that Allah said, with every word you commit, light or darkness, with every action you commit, light or darkness. Knowing this, Allah gave us in the Quran verses, prayers to do, so that we move towards light. And in the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us prayers, du'as, that will help us move towards light and move away toward darkness, because you have 2 points, one on this side, one on this side, and you are in the middle. The closer you get toward one point, the further you get from the other point. Light and darkness. So the Quran gives us dua, Rasulullah gives us dua, so that knowing that we are either going to commit to one, that we move to commit towards the light. Because Allah is light. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard, and shaitan is darkness. Aw kadhulumatin fil bahri lujjiyin, like the verse of darkness says. Here, in the verse of light, it is nurun ala nur, light upon light. In the verse of darkness, it is dhulumatun ba'duha fawqa ba'd. It is darkness upon darkness upon darkness in this surah. So in the Quran, in Surah Tahrim, Allah says, Nuruhum yas'a bayna aydihim wa bi aymanihim yaquluna rabbana atmim lana nurana waghfir lana innaka ala kulli shay'in qadir. This is Surah Tahrim, Ayah 8. Allah said their light goes forth before them and around them, and they say, Oh Allah, perfect our light, perfect the light that you have given us, and forgive us, for you are able to do all things. To pray for Allah to perfect our light, the light that He has given us, the light that comes from Him, so that like Rasulullah, like the Sahaba, we can be agents of light, dispellers of darkness. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us one of the most beautiful du'as in Islam. Allahumma ij'al fi qalbi nuran wa fi lisani nuran wa fi sam'i nuran wa fi basari nuran. He said, Oh Allah, Allahumma ij'al fi qalbi nuran, give me a light in my heart, so that what I have in my heart is only the love of you and the love of your creation and the love of beauty and the love of goodness. So that, put light in my heart, so that in my light, in my heart, there is no darkness, there is no rancor, there is no enmity, there is no hatred, there is no jealousy, there is no envy. وَفِي لِسَانِي نُورًا, from Rasulullah, give me light in my tongue, so that every word that I utter is a word of light and not a word of darkness. When we speak of people behind them, when we spread evil in tongue, we spread darkness without knowing it. So he said, وَفِي لِسَانِي نُورًا, give me light in my tongue, so that only words of light come out, because on the day of judgment, I'm going to stand before you, and this tongue is going to speak without my will. And it is going to say, what was it that I said in behind the backs of people? So he said, وَفِي لِسَانِي نُورًا وَفِي سَمْعِي نُورًا. Allah give me light in my hearing, so that I hear only what is light, and I never hear what is darkness. That I don't listen to people speak ill of other people, that I don't listen to people speak words of injustice, that I don't listen to people speak words of evil, but light in my ears, so that the only thing that enters into this ear is what is pleasing to you, because on the day of judgment, this ear is going to testify without my will. وَفِي بَصَرِي نُورًا, and give me light in my eyes, so that I only see what is light and never what is evil. I don't see enmity, I don't see killings, I don't see atrocities. I only see what is light. وَمِنْ فَوْقِي نُورًا, and above me give me light. وَمِنْ تَحْتِي نُورًا, and beneath me give me light. وَعَنْ يَمِينِي نُورًا, and on my right give me light. وَعَنْ شِمَالِي نُورًا, and to my left give me light. وَمِنْ أَمَامِي نُورًا, and in front of me give me light. وَمِنْ خَلْفِي نُورًا, and give me in my back also light, so that from above and from beneath and from the right, from the left, I am surrounded by light. And that's not the end of the dua. He said, وَحَبْلِي نُورٌ عَلَى نُورٍ, and give me light upon light upon light. And then he says, وَجَعَلْ لِي نُورًا, and give me a light. And it ends like this, and listen to this. وَجَعَلْنِي نُورًا. Make me a light. Not only give me a light, but make me a light. Make me a light. Is this possible for insan, man or woman, to be light? Yes, the Quran tells us so. If you wish, you may go into the Quran, you may go to Surah Al-An'am, you may go to Ayah 122, and you will find on that ayah, Allah described the 3 stations of spiritual resurrection. The 3 stages of spiritual resurrection. Our man kana maitan, one who was spiritually dead. Because there's a difference between living and breathing. When you live without the consciousness and the awareness of Allah, you are breathing, you are not living. So Allah describes in the Quran people that have been dead long time ago. They just have not been buried yet. That stage is the stage of spiritual death. You are walking physically, but spiritually you are dead. Then comes the spiritual life according to the will and the grace of Allah. Then I give you spiritual life. Not life already because you're already breathing and walking and talking, but spiritual life that is the capacity to know your Lord and the drive to follow His will. Spiritual life. And after that station of spiritual life comes the station of spiritual light. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا. And we give him or her a light. يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ. And with this light, they walk among mankind. This shows you that it is not a light that Allah is talking about the akhirah, but it is talking about in this world. One who was spiritually dead, then we gave him spiritual life, and then we gave him a spiritual light. And with that light, he or she walks among the people, dispelling the darkness wherever you are. Awake, my little one, said the poet Hafiz. He said, awake, my little one, and be kind to your sleeping heart. Take it out, your heart, into the vast fields of light, and let it breathe. Let it breathe, because the heart that is awake is like the sky pouring down light. That the heart that is awake is like the sky that is pouring down light. Rumi said, what are we? We are just lights wrapped in skin. He said, we are lights wrapped in skin. He said, you were made with the light of heaven. You were molded. The fabric of you is the light of heaven. He said, did you not know? Did you not know? Your light is more magnificent than sunrise or sunset. Your light is more magnificent than sunrise or sunset. On a night that is filled with darkness and pain, you are asked to be like the candle, spreading light until dawn. Until dawn. A few days ago, me and my son, we went out. And when we came back, we walked into the house. He was first. And he walked into the house and he said, it's all dark in here. I told him, Why don't you be a light then? Then you will never have to worry about darkness anymore. Be the light, and you will never have to worry about darkness anymore. Ever. Because where there is light, there cannot be darkness, because the two cannot be. Darkness only exists in the absence of light. You walk into your house, it's pitch black. It is filled with the presence of darkness. The moment you flip the switch, here comes light, and darkness is no more. We do that when we have light, but only when we have light. When we can pay the electricity bill, and when we know where the switch is. But when you become a light, then wherever you are, there is no more darkness, because the darkness that makes it that you cannot see is of such a minor level of darkness that exists. That short conversation with my son, it reminded me so many years ago, I did the same thing with my own father. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha illa huwa. We walked into a tent. This was in the desert. We walked into a tent and I said, it's dark in here. And he said one word. He said, عندك. He said, عندك. In Arabic, he said, عندك. He said, I said, it's dark in here. And his response was, to you it is. To you it is dark, but not to me. I never understood what he said until so many years. When I read the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he says, give me a light, but make me a light, then I understood what he meant. What he meant was, for you it is dark, but not for me. Because I am light. Wherever I am, even if I cannot see, I am still in the light. An English poet, Francis Bacon, said something that is so meditative. He said, children who are afraid of the dark, I can understand that, because they're children. Afraid of the dark, I can understand that. He said, but grown men afraid of the light, that is difficult for me to understand. Children afraid of the dark, that's easy to understand. But men that are afraid of light, meaning both men and women, that is much more difficult to understand. So Rumi said, be a lamp, be a lifeboat, be a ladder, and help someone's soul heal. Help someone's soul heal. Be a lamp so that no one around you is in the darkness. Be a lifeboat. What a lifeboat does, it saves people's lives. He said, be a ladder. What does a ladder do? It helps people rise. Don't be of those who put people down and keep people down, but be of those who help people rise. Be of those who help people rise, not those who put people and keep people down. He said, help someone's soul heal. Because we are all carrying wounds of the soul. And you are a torchlight when you help somebody's soul heal. You are a light bearer when you help somebody's soul heal. You are in the grace and in the love of Allah when you help somebody's soul heal. When you have light in your heart, you will find your way home. And home is Jannah. Home is paradise. It's not here. It's not here. Wallahi, it's not here. It's paradise. It's paradise. We close this chapter and we open a chapter very short, but a chapter of grace and a chapter of elegance and a chapter of beauty. Most of you know that our dear brother Sheikh Burhan is visiting the community, and the community has benefited from his wisdom and from his kind presence and from his soft presence. He's traveling around the world doing works of charity for Syrians and for Iraqis and for Muslims that are in a situation of distress anywhere around the world. He's raising funds. He had fundraisers today at Masjid Bilal, and I wanted to spend these last 2 minutes urging people to help contribute to the cause that he champions, for people to support the work he's doing, to support his efforts, to spread light to people that often are in darkness. I know something about it through my work with the Muslim refugees in Europe. He has provided the envelopes that you can put in the mail. It doesn't need postage. If you put a check in it, put it in the mail, you don't need postage. If you are around the masjid tonight and tomorrow, in the house where I live, if you put it under the mat, I'm going to see him tomorrow evening, and I will make sure that it gets to his hands before he leaves the community, inshallah. وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ. Whatever you give, send forth as a sadaqah, you will find it with Allah, inshallah. رَبَّنَا أَتْمِمْ لَنَا نُورَنَا وَاغْفِرْ لَنَا إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. We ask Allah to perfect our light. We ask Allah to help us understand that Jannah is home. We ask Allah to welcome us into that Jannah when the time comes for all of us, and let that be the Jannatul Firdaus. And Allah make us to be min rufaqa'i Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fi Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah help all of us, help us live fruitful lives where we are agents and sources of light, never when we are sources of agents of darkness. And when our mission is completed in this world, may Allah gather us, all of us together, along the banks of the river Kawthar in the Jannatul Firdaus. Innahu waliyu dhalika wal qadiru alayhi. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.